Welcome to the Central Alabama High School Sports Show podcast, brought to you by Andrew Sports Medicine, Land of Frost, Hamburger Heaven, Huffman Electric, and State Farm.
And folks, welcome again to the podcast of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. I'm your host, Snapper Lancaster, and tonight we've got two outstanding coaches and their athletes coming on our show. One is a volleyball coach, the other a football coach. And of course, it's getting playoff time for all these young athletes, so every match they play or every game they play now seems to determine if they're going to make the playoffs or not make the playoffs or whatever. So it's a very important time of the season. But we've got outstanding guests, outstanding athletes. We'll get to that in just a moment. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling one-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite, turkey, and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine, shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrew Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
Welcome back. As you can tell, I've got my first guest sitting here with me, and it happens to be Coach Krimson Revis, the volleyball coach of the Homewood Patriots. Now, there's something unique about Krimson. She is one of the few young ladies that I have interviewed on my show and has come back years later as a coach. And Krimson, awfully good to see you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And what we'll do to start the interview off, tell me a little bit about your background and how you ended up being the head volleyball coach here at Homewood.
So I grew up playing volleyball for Homewood. I was a setter, and when I graduated from high school, went on a few official visits for volleyball, then decided to go to Alabama. And then as soon as I graduated from Alabama, I knew I wanted to be back in the sport. And so I went through and got my master's and came back and applied. And I was hired to teach physical science, 8th grade physical science at the middle school, and coach under Coach Chestnut, who coached me for 2 years before taking the reins last year. So this is my second year. And
doing that, talk about being one of the younger coaches.
Yeah.
The learning curve. And did you always want to coach? I remember you saying something about you wanted to be around the sport. So did you ever have an inkling later in your high school, college years that, hey, I want to coach?
Honestly, no. I knew I wanted to be around the sport, maybe as an assistant or helping, but really when the first idea came out of being a head coach at age 23, I was kind of like, well, I know there will be struggles with this, but it'll be a great learning process, and God would never put me in a situation that I couldn't handle to begin with. And so I sat down through some interviews, and they kind of told me, this is the direction we're going. Are you in? And I said, I'm in. So I think it's an honor, though, to be able to coach, where I went to school. Well,
not only that, too, and talking about the youth here being 23, you weren't that far away from playing.
That's
and
right.
so the adjustment
That's right.
as far as coach and athlete it's a different one.
It is.
Because most of the time, I catch these coaches when they've been in the business, for lack of a better way to put it, a long time. So has it been thus far in your young career, has it been what you thought it would be?
I think it actually has lived up to the expectations that I had for it. I knew coming in young it would be hard because these kids would really more see me as their sister and not their coach. And so knowing that, pairing with advice that I got from my athletic director, my principals, et cetera, I kind of started out a little stronger on them. That way I proved to them, hey, I'm not your friend here, I'm your coach. Right. And I'm always here for you, but we're not friends. And so since then, the girls have kind of grown to understand, yes, I am a lot younger, usually half the age of our opponents' coaches, but it doesn't change anything.
Well, let me ask you this. Did your team last year, and excuse me for not knowing, did they make the playoffs your first year?
They did.
Okay.
So we made it out of area, and we came in second for area against Ramsey, who is a very good team, and went to regionals and faced Oxford the first round.
And so then back in the playoffs again this year.
Yes, sir.
Well, now talk about your team a little bit and what your expectations were for them and yourself in your second year.
So first year I had 3 freshmen on varsity. We had a very young team. And here we are back again, second year, and I again have 3 freshmen on varsity, and they're in key roles too. My middle hitter is a freshman. My setter, who acts much like a quarterback, is also a freshman. And then my right side, who's a lefty, is also a freshman. Everyone else, for the most part, is sophomores. Then I have 3 juniors and a senior. So we're a very, very young team. But my expectations for them don't change. They know to be on time, to work hard, to give it everything. I mean, we just took Huntsville down, big 7A school in Blaylock, and they've proven age doesn't matter, it doesn't define you. Your ability and your work ethic is what defines you.
At this point in the season, too, that has to be a confidence builder.
Yes, sir.
And so as you prepare for the playoffs and the second year with some of your girls,
right.
Is it any different this year? Do you approach the playoffs a little bit different, or feel like you're knowing more which direction or what you need to do for you and your team to be successful?
So that's a good question. Last year we faced Oxford first round, and we had beat them twice previously in the same year, and we actually got beat by them in 2 sets. And so we went home, and our big, I would say our big message to this team is, throughout the whole year, we've said, if we're looking at a forest, just focus on the trees. Just one point at a time, just what's in front of you, be where your feet are right now. Don't get ahead of yourself. Even if, the first round, the first game, we're playing a team that we have beaten before, that doesn't mean anything. And history has shown us that doesn't mean anything, because that happened last year.
Well, now let me ask you this, and I don't know, how much did you have to do with or anything with last year's schedule?
I made last year's
schedule. Okay, and so then you made this year's too.
Yes, sir.
Now, the reason I ask that question is a lot of times I would like to ask coaches, do you want to, in your schedule, and you have your region teams you have to play, you know that.
Right.
But the out-of-region teams, I've often thought that maybe coaches schedule a team that they'd have a hard time beating. They'll schedule a team that they ought to beat, and they may schedule 1 or 2 games where if we lose, we're digressing.
Right.
Do you have a philosophy on that, or is it just sometimes you're sort of forced because of the scheduling issues with everybody, maybe not to go in that direction?
Right. So for our area, we have to play those teams. That comes first. And then from there, the only 2 teams that we've played this year in the regular season that haven't been either a 7A team or a top 10 ranked team has been only twice, and that was because of senior night, and then we were rounding out our season. Other than that, we have played either top 10 6A teams or top 10 7A teams. Okay. And so we always have a difficult schedule, only because A, that really gives us a better identification as to where we match up, and B, it better prepares us for going deeper into regionals.
Well, and the other thing that I would ask you as the head coach, I ask coaches of almost every sport this, and that is, as the season goes along, I think it's every head coach's wish and desire is that his team or her team peaks at the playoff time.
Right.
And a lot of times there are peaks and valleys in a season.
Right.
And then if you're really lucky, you may play excellent all year long and just ready to tackle that tournament time. But for the most part, I think, and you feel the same way, that you want your team playing their best as you get ready to enter the tournaments.
We're ready to peak. We've historically, I don't think Homewood has ever had a graduating class of a varsity team with a graduating class of like 6 or 7 seniors. We've always had low number of seniors, and that's just the way it works out. But for us, we're ready to peak, and the girls have what it takes, and we're on that incline. We're back on the incline again, so we're excited.
Well, I tell you what, first of all, it's awfully good to see you again.
Thank you.
Secondly, it's even better when your team is fixing to go in the playoffs and the season's almost over.
Yes, sir.
So now, as the old saying goes, the second season is just beginning,
That's right? It doesn't matter what we did earlier. It only matters now.
I'd like to wish you and your young ladies all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
And boy, it'd be nice. I don't know how many championships they have in volleyball there, but I bet they haven't had a coach that won their second year.
I don't think so.
But
that would be nice.
But wish you all the luck in the
Thank you.
world, and awfully good to see you again.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 3 young ladies very instrumental in the outstanding season that Homewood has had thus far, but their season's way from over, folks. We'll be right back. You can catch our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also visit us on our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Be sure to like and subscribe to our platforms. If you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be a sponsor, please email us at castvshow321@gmail.com.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Oh, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine, shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrews Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, postoperative decisions, preoperative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making that gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them, we're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say, I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky!
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
And folks, welcome back. As you can tell, I've got three outstanding young ladies, young athletes, pretty doggone good volleyball players too. And I'm gonna let each girl introduce themselves, starting with the young ladies closest to me.
I'm Cassidy Schnurr. I play right side for our varsity team.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Alejandra Liu. I'm a senior and I'm a middle.
I'm Alex Hirschbein. I'm a sophomore and I play outside.
Okay, now girls, one thing we've already established is you're a pretty good team because you have qualified for the playoffs. So going into this season, Cassidy, and I'll ask you that, just to start with, what were your expectations not only for your teammates, but for yourself?
I don't know, can I start? Sorry.
Just feel comfortable.
What were your expectations?
What were your expectations for yourself?
I expected to improve a lot. I was ready for this season. I wanted to get a lot better as a player, mentally and physically. And
well, now, let me ask you this. Is volleyball the only sport you participate in?
no, I also play basketball and softball.
Really? Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot with the coach sitting right there. Let's pretend she's not there for this question. But what is your favorite sport?
Volleyball, most definitely.
Oh, you're going to make a good politician. That's good. Okay, Lou, how about you?
I only play volleyball, and my expectations for our team this season was for us to be able to go to regionals, and I'm really proud of us because we have accomplished that. And this is my last year playing volleyball, and I'm really happy as to where we are right now, and not only like as a team on the court, but also off the court. So.
Good. Okay. And how about you, Alex?
I also play basketball and softball.
Okay.
And my expectations for the team would probably just to be improving with us being such a young team. I think we've really hung in there with some teams with all seniors, and that has really impressed me.
Well, I know one thing that I always am curious about is team chemistry. That is a very important thing, no matter whether it's male or female or whatever the sport is. Because the better the team chemistry is, the better not only you become as an individual, but as a team. Now, on the opposite side of that, if there's bad team chemistry, for lack of a better way to put it, infighting or people that have attitudes toward one another. It can bring the team down from where they wouldn't be their best, or that individual wouldn't be their best. With that thought in mind, Alex, talk about the team chemistry for this year's group.
I think our chemistry is like pretty good. We hang out outside of volleyball and outside of school, and we do other activities other than just volleyball. So I think we're friends and we're pretty close. We tell each other pretty much anything.
Well, good. Also, along those lines, I know you, girl. I know two things about you before you sit down. One, I know you're smart. For the simple reason, if you didn't qualify in the classroom, you wouldn't make it to the volleyball court. And then two, if you weren't pretty good athletes, you wouldn't be ready to enter the tournament in really good shape, playing really well. So I know there's a lot of pressure put on athletes in the classroom and then on the court for whatever sport they choose to play. Now, what I'm more interested in is we want to take some of that pressure off a little bit and relax. And I know the time's busy between all that and getting your lessons and all that kind of stuff. So what I would want to know, Miss Cassidy, what do you do to totally relax and get away from the grind of the books and the volleyball court?
I like to play. I have a younger brother and a younger sister, and I like to just hang out with them, either outside or just.
Okay, well, good. How about you, Lou?
Well, for me, it's not that my world revolves around volleyball, but like I just really have fun being able to play volleyball and like hang out with my friends, and like that's why I always like to have the opportunity to play travel ball after the season's over, because that also gives me a chance to like have more friends, meet new people, have new coaches, and like that way I could also get better. And just like the experience of traveling with my friends is just really fun. And like I know that also like is still volleyball and classwork and stuff, but I don't know, I just think that's like the way I escape and like the way my stress and everything just goes away.
Okay, how about you, Alex?
I also do travel ball and like private lessons and stuff that also revolve around volleyball, because that's what I enjoy doing in my free time.
Well, let me tell you something, girls. I am totally shocked that one of you ladies didn't say, I like to go shopping. I don't know many ladies that don't like shopping, but evidently that's something you want to keep to yourself and not let the world know you really enjoy that. Like Cassidy, for you, when you see that schedule on the board and you look at it, what team stands out to you that you say, golly, I look forward to playing them?
Especially this year, I was looking forward to playing Mountain Brook just because I love a challenge and I like to play my best. And
well, there's an old saying too, if you want to beat the best, you got to play your best. And the challenge of playing somebody better, that's a very positive thing, it's a motivating factor too as well. How about you, Lou?
Well, I'm in the same page with CASS. Like when I saw that we were gonna play big teams like Oak Mountain and Mountain Brook, I was like ready to go, because like they're really good teams, and I was ready to see what my team had to give in the court.
Okay, Alex?
I was also excited to see just the competition throughout all the teams, especially the bigger 7A schools, because I like to see how we like stand compared to them.
Now here's a thought-provoking question, but it's a simple one. All of you girls, for right now, are playing volleyball. So we're going to hone in on volleyball for a second. And I want to ask you, and Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like most about your volleyball experience? And what do you dislike the most about it?
I think the thing I like the most is just being able to like focus on just volleyball. You kind of forget everything around you, and you're only focused on the ball. And like when you're behind the line serving, it's only you and the ball. Like you can't think of anything else. The thing I probably dislike the most, probably be the pressure. I put a lot of pressure on myself individually, not necessarily what other people put on put on me, but what I put on myself.
Well, and a lot of times that is a positive pressure because it's making you want to be the best you can possibly be, and the only person that can do that is you. Okay, Lou, how about you?
Well, for the past 4 years, I think for me, the thing that has attracted me to volleyball the most is just being able to hit the ball. Because that's just like, for me, that's the one thing I was able to do since I started volleyball. So having that and seeing myself getting better throughout the years is just like really amazing to see how I progress. And like one of the things that I disliked about volleyball, I guess, is just as like what Alex said, just the pressure you put on yourself, because I know it's a team sport, but at the same time, it's like, if you don't have a pass, like if they serve to you, if you don't pass the ball, you shank the ball, it's on you, kind of, but then also when you set or like when you hit, like it's individual and also as a team, but yeah, just the pressure.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's a positive thing because I think what that is wanting you to do inside is just be the best you can be, whatever that might be. Okay, sweetie.
My favorite thing about volleyball, like, it's always been because it's a team sport. Like Lou said, it's very, like, everybody on the court has to do their job in order to succeed. And I guess I like the connection you have to have on the court. I like being able to rely on my teammates. And I guess this, same with them, pressure and just, pressure.
Well, all right, let me ask you this question too. I got this one more and then we'll be through. Do you think that your team right now is playing the best volleyball they've played all year? As you get ready to go in the tournament?
I think, we've made a big improvement from the beginning of our season, and if we play like we know how to play, then we should be. Because
you athletes ought to be just like the coaches, wanting to peak as you get ready for tournament time. Well, girls, the last question I've got to, and it's been a delight to talk to you, is to this point in your young lives, and we'll start with you first, Cassidy. Who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
For me, player-wise, there was a girl on our team last year. I also played basketball with her, Tori Webb. She is a great athlete, and I just look up to her a lot because she tore her ACL and last year during our season, and she accepted it and then did everything she could in her power to get back on the court.
Sounds like she's been a positive role model.
Yes.
How about you, Lou?
For me, role model, it probably is another volleyball player, and she comes to visit us during summer. Her name is Deja. She plays for Maryville College, and just like being able to see how good of an athlete she is now from high school and to college is just incredible. And like, I'm just shocked as to like how she has progress, and like I know how she doesn't give up and like she keeps grinding. So like that.
Alex?
I've also played basketball, and Tori Webb, she came back from her ACL, and she was, even when we were practicing, she was off to the side doing as much work as she could possibly do to become as good as she could possibly be. Okay,
well, girls, I tell you what, I don't know what the tournament's going to be like for you, but if you go out there and play your best, I got a feeling you're going to do some damage in it, okay? I want to wish you good luck, Austin. Nice to meet you. And the best thing that could happen is come away with a state title, right? Yes. So good luck to you. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, another coach and more athletes. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors. a company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their number one objective. And folks, welcome back. As you can tell, I've got a new guest up here, and it's a football coach, a gentleman I've known for many years now, and we're talking about Richie Busby of the Helena Huskies. But I'm having to get used to that. You know, we were somewhere else for a long time. So for people, Coach, that might be seeing you for the first time, tell us a little bit about your background and what's led you to be there at Helena.
Well, as you know, I spent 18 years at Fultondale High School, and last January, the end of January, I took the job at Helena to take over that program, and we've been hard at it ever since, every day, trying to get it better. And spent 3 years prior to Fultondale at Bessemer Academy, where I went to high school, and when I left the University of Montevallo, where I played baseball, and coached football and basketball for the last 22 years.
Really? I will tell you this, we have something in common. I have a grandson that's a senior this year, and he's at Bessemer Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hadn't always been there, but ended up there, and good athlete, gonna go play baseball on scholarship at UT Martin.
Well, that's awesome.
But yeah, you know, it's strange how the years get by and everything, and then you make a change like this, and talk about that a little bit, Richie, that it's not only a change for the kids, it's also a change for the coach going into a new situation.
Well, it was a huge decision for me and my family. I mean, that was the biggest thing. It was a family decision, you know, being there at that school for so long. I mean, I was beginning to coach kids when I coached their parents. It was tough to leave, but you know, I grew up in the McCalla-Bessemer area, been living in Helena the last 12, 13 years, and I always in the back of my mind thought, you know, if that Helena job comes open, then it might be one I'd like to look at. And when the opportunity arose, we looked into it, and it was not an easy decision. I mean, we went back and forth, my family and my kids. I mean, that was home to us, even though we didn't live in Fultondale, it was home. And the people out there treated us great for a lot of years. And to make the decision was not half-hearted, but it came down to I was on the road a lot. I mean, you're talking 2 hours a day on the road traveling. I missed a lot of my kids' life, a lot of their activities being on that road, coming back and forth. And this gave me an opportunity for my youngest daughter to go to school with me and get to experience something that I had not experienced. And a lot of coaches had told me, having your kids at school with you is something that, you can't ever replace. So to be able to do that, my oldest one stayed at McAdore. She's a junior. So, and I told her, if I take the job, you can change if you want. And if you want to stay, I understand that. But my youngest one really wanted to change. A lot of her friends in the community already went to school there. It's a great school. The academics are second to none. So, that and then the challenge. I mean, I knew it'd be a challenge. I mean, I left the program. We went undefeated last year and had 2 Division I football players coming back and some underclassmen that'll play on TV on Saturday too. So it was tough, but it was more about my family and the challenge. And really, I thought the other night, I still think, what was the reason I made a change? And those boys sitting right there are the reason, in that locker room. This has probably been one of the most fulfilling years I've had as a coach. A lot of adversity, and we won 3 games in a row, and I was like, man, this is why I came here, for these kids to experience this.
Well, I know I had been watching all season long, and I saw where y'all got off to the start you did. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, you can just tell by watching your schedule and what was happening that you were slowly but surely turning in the right direction. Sometimes it don't happen overnight. Sometimes you're fortunate enough to get in a situation to where you can get off to that fast start, but I think that's probably more the exception than the rule.
Yeah, and 4 teams of our 5 losses are 34-3 right now. McAdore's lost 1 time, Hueytown's lost once, and Homewood's lost once, and each one of them have lost to one another. I mean, Hueytown beat McAdore and Homewood beat Hueytown, so we knew our schedule was very, very front-loaded, and these kids will tell you, I talked to them a lot about it, but I had to keep reminding them, I knew we had better times ahead of us. But when you've been in the situation they've been in, they've struggled most of their career, and a new guy's coming in, they don't really know, telling them, hey, everything's going to be okay, and then you go 0-4. You know, any kid would have a hard time believing that. But when we beat Southside, and we told them, look, if we go 0-4 the first 4 games, don't panic. We're going to be okay. And sure enough, we rattled off 3 in a row. And, man, I think we might have played one of our best football games last week.
Right.
I mean, and J.O.'s just, there's 3 guys on their defense that'll play on TV next year. And,
right.
you know, and we've only been in the weight room with our guys 6-7 months now. And they've done everything we've asked them to do. And, I mean, they played so hard last Friday night. I mean, that was when I realized this is the reason I'm here.
Well, now you, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you might need a little help, but you could still make the playoffs
Oh,
if
yeah,
y'all win this week.
Yeah,
right?
the winner's in, the loser is out, and not only is it a big rival with Pelham, as you know, the school split from Pelham, and then right next, I reminded them today, hey, we're a lot closer than Alabama and Auburn are, so you got to see these kids all year long, and you know, I just hope we go out and compete like we did, because we compete like we did the last 4 weeks, we're going to be fine. And whatever happens, happens.
And with that thought in mind, because I've noticed the same thing, that with the longer the season went along, the more positive things were starting to happen. Yeah. And having said that now, and like you said, your fate you hold in your own hands, and I'm sure you and the kids realize this. But talk about your team. Tell me a little bit about it from the offensive, defensive, and special teams standpoint.
Well, the strength of our football team is definitely our defense right now. You know, we hired Coach Jim Elgin, and he brought his defensive staff. Jim's been a head coach at Pleasant Grove for 18 years like I was, both of us in Jefferson County. And defensively, we have been playing really solid. We played really good all year on defense. That Homewood game, we just didn't play real well. I think we were overwhelmed early, and we just didn't get our feet back under us. But every other game, we have been lights out on defense. And, you know, they gave up 7 points in regulation, or 8 points in regulation the night. We gave them 8 on a bad punch snap, so that wasn't on them. But as long as our defense comes to play, and the defense usually travels, as they say, I think we'll be in the thick of it Friday night. And offensively, we're starting to come along. We got a young back, Marquise Johnson. I had another Marquise Henderson. Marquise Johnson, who has got 966 yards rushing, so he's going to be the first back, hopefully, to rush for 1,000 yards at the school. So, and we've got some other weapons, but the offensive line is starting to gel, and they're opening up holes, and we've had to move some people around, but they've done a really good job as the year's gone along, you know, battling and through the adversity, and, you know, playing pretty good right now, so hopefully we can keep that going Friday night.
And the thing about it, and I don't know this, so I'm maybe speaking out of turn, but the first year somewhere, when you go to a new school, and it's been a long time since you've done that, like you said, they're growing pains. It just seems to go with the territory, and the exception might be if you go and it's like you haven't missed a beat. But I think that is the exception, because there's also it's a new for the head coach as well as the athletes. It's a transition period for both of them. Right. But at this point, Coach, I think you would look at your team, and I think most coaches feel this way. When you get to this point of the season, you're ready for your team to peak at this point. And hopefully, if you get to those playoffs, you want to be playing your best football.
Yeah, and I feel like we are. I mean, honestly, Friday night I think we played our most complete game, and we had one hiccup in special teams, and we told them we couldn't make a mistake in special teams, and that's how much more talented J.O. was than us. Right. And we made the mistake, and they capitalized on it. Saying that, I mean, we don't make that mistake, I think we win that football game. I really do, and I don't know that everybody was expecting that. But I think the kids in that locker room were. I think they're believing. As long as they're believing, we're going to be tough to beat.
Well, it sounds like to me that you feel like your team has gotten better the whole season long. And the thing about it, if you take care of business Friday night, it's been worth all that.
Yeah, it'd be huge for our city, our school, our kids, and I expect it to be a great atmosphere.
Well, just from the little bit we've talked about, it sounds like you may be at a place to where you could easily finish your career here if everything went well.
Well, that's what I told them I wanted to do, and I meant it. You know, I've been 18 years at one school. I'm not a guy that's going to jump around. Don't want to move my family, and I got 6 years left, and I don't know how long I'd like to coach, but I hope they all are at Helena.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, one, it's awfully good to see you again.
You too.
I know we visited last year, but it's like I told my wife. She said, Snapper, you had Coach Busby last year. I said, yeah, but it was at a different school, and this has been a transition for him as well as for his kids.
Well, I appreciate you thinking of us.
Hope you come away with a big win Friday night, just where you can get to the dance floor. And if you do that, you know, anything can happen.
That's right.
But awfully good to see you, and best of luck for you and your team in the playoffs.
We appreciate it.
If you get there,
Yes,
I don't want
thank
to put you there, but I'm just saying it because I know you got to go out and do it. Folks, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, three young men have played a big part in the outstanding season that's building for Helena. They played a big part in it. We'll talk with them in just a minute. We'll be right back.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrew Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well. And folks, welcome back. As you can tell, I got three outstanding young gentlemen here for the Helena Huskies, and we're going to find out who they are and what position they play. So, sitting closest to me, Jake Smith. Jake, you're a senior, right?
Sir.
And safety, is it safety or linebacker?
Linebacker, moved to linebacker.
Or strong linebacker?
Weak side. Like a
weak side. I had an S. Coach, I'm going to ask you, what was it? Did you give me an S?
I put strong safety, outside linebacker. He's played it all.
That's okay. This is just live, folks, so don't worry. We just take care of business. I thought that S was for safety, so I sort of tricked you a little bit, didn't I, Jake? Didn't mean to do that. Matt Mezzarani, senior, and now you're a safety.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we got that right. Then Max Shannon, a senior, and you're guard.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, going into this season, it's like we done talked with the coach. It was a big change, and so you get a new coach. Jake, talk about how that change has been and what it's been like starting to play for a new coach.
Well, just starting fresh, all of us in the team, the vibe was different. We started working hard, and knew fresh start was good, and it was good for the team.
Okay. Now, Matt, how about you? How's it been different?
It's been a big change of culture. It's been a lot more based on working out and just changing everything, making new stuff happen.
Okay. Mac, how about you?
I mean, there came to the point where we were just like, we weren't playing as hard as we could have towards the end of the past few years. And then once they got in, just everything sort of changed. We found some hope and started playing a lot harder than we have in the past.
Well, sometimes and oftentimes we wonder about this, but change is good. A lot of times we like where we are because we feel comfortable with it, but sometimes we're not maximizing what we could or couldn't be, and those changes come about. And Jake, being a senior, like when you saw that schedule this year, is there any team on there that stood out that you couldn't wait to play this year?
I mean, when we play Friday's a big one. Helena always is. We ain't go to school with them, but we see them everywhere, and it's always big. I mean, we talk social media and we see them around the area.
You probably have friends that have gone there. Some of them. And Matt, what game stands out to you?
Hueytown was a big game for me. Just hearing all the hype about the big running back they have, it was exciting to play against them.
Yeah, a lot of times it's different reasons that we all look forward to something, and it's sometimes we don't understand, but everybody's got their own reason why they would look to something. Mac, how about you?
For me, I like playing Jackson Olin. I mean, all the talk about how good their defense was, how many people they had going to play in college, and I thought that was one of our offensive line's best games.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I know Coach over there real well too, and he's done a fantastic job. And I knew that was going to be a barn burner, but it was probably really a good game to watch, win or lose. It's no fun losing, but I'm one of these guys. I believe that sometimes you can gain more from losing a game sometimes than win, because it's easy to be a winner. But if you lose, you're wondering why. What could I have done different? And you hope to grow from it along those lines. When Jake, I know being a senior, is football all you play?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Being a senior, I know two things about you. One, you had to qualify in the classroom, so you must be a pretty bright guy. And the other one, you have to be pretty good to suit up on that football field. So you spend a lot of time preparing for class, preparing to be the best football player you can be. Now, I know you got to have some downtime. What is it that you do to sort of unwind and loosen up from a tough week in the classroom and on the football field?
I mean, I like watching football whenever I can. Sports, just watching sports, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, if you like watching football that much, you like college or professional more?
I like professional more.
Who is your favorite football player? That if you could play, let's narrow it down to a position that if you could play as good as this guy or just half as good, who would it be?
I like watching Luke Kuechly for the Panthers.
Yeah, he almost plays with reckless abandon, doesn't he? and that's okay. Matt, how about you?
I like hunting and fishing a lot. I'm an outdoorsy kind of guy, but
okay.
That's not in the downtime. I really like to watch football as well, and I like to go outside and I like playing basketball, just in the driveway a lot.
All right.
But
Well,
that's
there's
about
nothing
it.
wrong
Yes,
with that. Well, when it comes to the football aspect of it, college or pro, is there any guy you like watching because of your position? Or do you look at that? I mean, I know I used to do that when I was an athlete 50 years ago, over 50. And so you do. You sort of think, golly, I wish I could play like him. Is there anybody like that for you? Or
not really.
Not really?
Okay. I just like watching just as a whole.
Watching somebody else.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Mac, how about you, buddy?
I mean, I play little video games, but I spend a lot of time outdoors too.
Really?
Playing basketball, and I watch a lot of football too.
So do you enjoy the college game or the pro game more?
College.
And being a guard, do you watch guys the line to sort of see if you can pick up techniques
Yeah, I
or
will
something?
a few times, yeah.
Okay. Well, now I know one thing about athletes that I've known for a long, long time, known a lot of athletes, we're a superstitious bunch. Sometimes more so than we ought to be, really. But with that thought in mind, Jake, is there any superstition in you or certain ways you have to do certain things every week when you prepare for a game? Or
I mean, this is a little kind of weird, but just same pair of socks every Friday.
Okay. Now, I don't have a problem with that. Here's what I want to know. Were they washed?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. How about you, Matt?
I like to wear the same outfit on game day, whether it be gym shorts and the black Husky shirt we have, but I have to wear the same gym shorts.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. If we don't have them, we're down to you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mac, how about you?
I got a headband that I wear that I've never washed, so I gotta wear it.
Okay, so they don't. My wife has a little term for me. It's not stinky. She calls me stanky, but I get the message. Like if I haven't washed my headband or anything like that. But let me tell you this, guys. I've talked to a lot of athletes, and they have all kinds of superstitions. The one thing I tell you for a fact, okay, none of those superstitions help you at all. But the only thing that there's nothing wrong with them. We all have them because mentally you think it does, but really you're gonna go out and play your best regardless. But you like to think you got a little bit of edge, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now all you guys are seniors. Jake, going off to college next year?
Yes, sir.
Where are you going?
Going to Auburn.
Oh, I'll pray for you. No, that's a great school. What do you hope? What kind of courses you hope to take? What do you like? What do you think you'd want to do one day?
Probably be an architect.
Really?
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Well, you'd get a good education there, that's for sure. Matt, how about you?
I plan on going to Alabama.
Oh, you got winter written all over your face.
But listen, I'm a big Auburn fan now. Changing it up.
Really?
I'm a big Auburn fan, but
you're going to Alabama?
Yes, sir. I think so.
All right. Now, what kind of courses? What do you hope to do one day?
I want to be a nurse.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Instead of bruising people, we're going to help people, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mac, how about you?
I'm going to Auburn, looking to do physical therapy.
You can go wherever you want. Somebody your size, I don't blame you. And physical therapy? Okay, well that's good. But guys, I know, and we'll start with you, Matt. You think y'all's team got off a little slow, coming on strong, playing your best football now?
Yeah, we got off a little slow, but we were also playing some pretty good teams. So lately, we've just started to click recently, and we're playing our best football right now.
When I ask coaches this, and so the players the same thing. Matt, you playing your best football right now?
Yes, sir. I think so.
And so what we're hoping is with that you're peaking at the right time, right? And Jake, you think your team, y'all have improved through the year?
Yes, sir.
You got a big game that's coming Friday night, and I guarantee you it's probably going to determine whether y'all make the playoffs or not. So you feel good about you and your teammates and where you are right now?
Yes, sir. I think we've, as a whole, we just kind of started trusting each other to do their own job, and they trust us to do ours. Okay, guys, as we conclude this interview, Jake, we'll start with you. To this point in your young life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons? My mom.
Okay, well, good for you. Matt?
My father, for sure.
Okay, and Mac?
Oh, it's got to be my dad. He's pushed me every single day to get better at what I'm doing and that. Not just out there to go through the motions.
And I tell you what, because my dad did the same thing, and I'm sure y'all did too. When they push us, sometimes we wonder, back off a little bit. But we know in the back of our mind, they just want us to be the best that we can be. And sometimes if Dad says it in such a way, it means that we got to do something, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, sir.
So guys, like I said, you've had a good season thus far. You've got a chance to really make it a good one. And the first step is Friday night. I want to wish you all the luck in the world. And you never can tell. You get in the tournament, anything can happen. So,
yes,
maybe you can win that first title. But best of luck to you, and good luck to all you guys when you head off to college, okay?
Yes, sir.
And folks, we've had an interesting evening, 2 outstanding coaches, outstanding athletes as always. We'll do it again next week. So till then, you know what the snapper always says, bicycle. You can catch our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also visit us on our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Be sure to like and subscribe to our platforms. If you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be a sponsor, please email us at castvshow321@gmail.com.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine and orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrew Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making that gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them, we're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.